My name is Eric Choi, and I've been going to Three Crosses since 2005. Yeah, I grew up here in the East Bay. My parents were immigrants from South Korea. My dad worked 2 jobs, one at Kaiser, one at Kmart, and my mom worked in the restaurant business. Yeah, we attended church in Oakland, a Presbyterian church, and my parents were very involved with the church. Things were going pretty well. I remember one morning in March, my mom was just driving in the rain. I looked out the curtain and I just saw her weeping. It was pouring rain, and she wrote a note that just said, "I love you," and that's it. And from that point, I didn't see her again for years. My parents had to move to Korea, and this was not something that I was actually made aware of. I just saw it in front of my eyes, and I watched our cars get taken away. We were quickly rushed out of the home, and my dad moved out, and I thought it was just another trip that he was taking. Finally, my brother told me that my parents will be gone for a while. It was indefinite, and so he took on the burden of having to raise me and take care of himself. He was just 16. We had very little income, and it was tough just to get our meals. It was hard to come to school feeling self-conscious of even my clothes not being clean. I still attended church, but at the time it was more just out of obedience and just out of routine, seeing familiar faces for comfort, but I was not fully spiritually mature at the time. My wife Helen and I, we attended high school together actually over here in Castro Valley. We got married when we were 28. We moved to Hawaii actually for a while, and then we moved back. We were in Oakland, and then we eventually moved back to Hayward. Yeah, by the time we got to our 30s, we were expecting twins. We felt super blessed. They were very healthy, lovely daughters, Maya and Jada, and everything was going really well. My parents had moved back from Korea by this point. We thought they were doing well, but actually they were in a lot more distress than we knew about. I think this caused my dad to get some health concerns, and one night in 2015 he had a heart attack and he just died out of the blue. I was really shook. I was so confused because it just came up very suddenly. So I was looking for answers, and I remember running into the church community here for families. It was called Kaleo at the time. I felt such a strong need. It was desperation to get connected, and I'll never forget the feeling of support that we got. We were embraced. So when my dad died, this is when my brother and I realized that this was the first trace of heart disease in our family, and so I decided to go get a physical. Yeah, everything checked out clear, except for they found a growth. They did some tests, they did a biopsy, and eventually they found out that it was T-cell lymphoma and had to be treated. I remember at the time I leaned into scripture, and reading the verse from 2 Corinthians 12:19, I was asking God to just get rid of this, get this thing out of my body, and by His grace I was healed. The Lord has assured me that He will always provide. He will take care of not just me, but my family and our community. We are fulfilled only through Him. He will hear us when we cry out in our most desperate moments, and He will celebrate with us when we experience something awesome. And I cannot say enough of how faithful He's been to my family and me.